Hey, Derek, Belichick's defenses are known for trying to take away what an offense does best and what they want to do. Do you expect them to sort of focus on Darren Waller, and do you feel you guys have the responsibility to sort of take advantage of that with the other options you have?
Yeah, we definitely have to be ready. Anytime you play, anyone from the New England scheme and not the tradition, but from that organization, that's what they do best. They try and take away your best players, and that's every week we go out there. That's what people are trying to do to Waller. So we've had some good practice at it. If I'm being honest, of guys, doubling him, doing different stuff with him. But our other guys, it'll be a great opportunity to see who steps up. Like we always talk about, we're not a selfish team. If they want to take something away, then other guys will step up. If they want to take that away, then the other guys will step up. And so we're very much into team football and not fantasy stats. So, if that's what we have to do to win the game, whatever it takes to win, we definitely have to be ready.
Eric, this is Hondo Carpenter, and I was interviewing Michael Jordan once, and he said that when he gets in his zone, the rim seems to be 6 foot wide. I'm just curious, you're performing in this offense at a very elite level. Do you feel like it's in that zone?
I feel like I definitely feel like we're in a good rhythm. I don't know if we don't have enough body of work to say that we're in that kind of place yet. But we're definitely in a good rhythm. You score 34 points 2 weeks in a row. It's a pretty good feeling, man. Especially against some pretty good talent. So we have our work cut out for us this week. They're coming off, a loss, and we're coming off a big win, and the practices are going to be intense. The heightened emotions and all that. So as soon as you start feeling yourself, that's when bad things happen. Pride always comes before the fall, and we're definitely not a proud bunch, man. We are people that just put our head down and work. I definitely know throwing to Waller feels like I'm always in the zone, because even when I miss a pass, he makes it look good. So, I definitely feel like the rim's a little bit bigger when you throw to him, I guess.
Hey, Derek, this is Vic. The touchdown run by Jalen, is that the exact same play he bounced the pitch on? And how important was it to go back to him right away?
Yeah, it was the same play, and I think he even laughed. We both laughed out when we broke the huddle after I called it. We kind of looked at each other like, well, here we go again. And he laughed and he said, catch the ball, kind of a thing. So Jalen's a guy we trust. Mistakes happen in this game, as you guys know, even with the very best players. Things are going to happen. So he did. Maybe I could have pitched it a little bit better for him, but we had a turnover. But he comes right back and bounces back. That's what this game's about, man. When things don't look good or when things are against you, football is beautiful because you always get a chance to fight back.
Hey, Derek, I believe this is the third time the Raiders have traveled back to New England since that infamous 2001 Tuck Rule game. And I know you were probably, 9, 10 years old when that thing happened, but being from a big Raider family that are big supporters, you probably have had tons of conversations about that game. Can you kind of talk a little bit about that, some of those conversations you had with your friends or dad, and was it a fumble, in your opinion?
Nah, Seawood definitely stripped him. That's for sure. But I remember I was a little kid in Bakersfield, California, watching it, pretending to be Charles Woodson out in my front yard, and then coming back in and watching the game and going back outside and doing those things. So I remember telling Charles that too, and it made him feel old a little bit. But, for me, growing up, that's a big moment in just football history, let alone Raider history and Patriot history, And so definitely had a lot of conversations about it. As a Raider fan, of course it's a fumble. You go to New England, of course it wasn't a fumble, all those things. So it'd be nice to hear what Tom has to say about it sometime, that's for sure. But, I think with that history and all those kind of things, it's cool for our fans and stuff like that, but this is two different teams. I played there my rookie year, and we went down and scored, and then we had a holding penalty that gets called back, and then the next play, ball bounces off my guy, Vince Wilfork picks it off. So I don't have good memories there either, So I got a lot of making up to do, but I'm excited for the opportunity.
And Derek, as you look across the league, obviously a lot of injuries, some really big names. You guys have had your own. Is there a sense in the locker room it's just that's football and they've had some bad luck, or because of the missing of camps and the pandemic and not getting as much work in, is there a sense that might be leading to this?
Well, there's a certain just working out in the weight room is completely different than football training with pads on, the hitting. You can do so many cuts, but can you make those cuts while you're getting hit? Your knee goes in a different direction, and your ankle and flexibility. There's just so much. A lot of guys, not all the guys, but some. It'd be interesting to see how some of the guys were training in the off season and things like that, and doing a study. It'd be an interesting study. I don't have all the answers, that's for sure. We're blessed to, hopefully, stay relatively healthy so far, but. I think that a lot of it comes down to how you train. A lot of it is also freak. There's sometimes your cleat gets stuck in the grass and nothing you can do about it. I know that firsthand. When I broke my ankle, I tried to, and I made it worse by trying to rip my leg out of there, and it popped. So it's tough. It's hard to just say it's one thing or the other. I can't do that. Because a lot of these guys work their tails off, but it'd definitely be an interesting study if someone were to see their training and see what led up to kind of those things, because if we don't know when the virus is going to go away, we don't know those things. Do we have to do this again, another off season? It'd be interesting to have those stats and know what to do is right.
Derek, you guys are leading the third quarter 17-0. You've come back to win games. The penalties are at a minimum. You haven't lost the turnover battle yet. These are, winning attributes. Are you starting to see that develop in this team? And is that something that you can build on and almost become a habit?
Yeah, Vinny. It's something we improved on last year, but it wasn't good enough. Coming into training camp and really during our training as players, it was definitely some emphasis on penalties. There was definitely emphasis on the holding stuff on the back end, definitely finishing in the red zone. We would always start like games fast, but we needed to finish or start the second half better. These were emphasis things for us. And when you have a whole bunch of guys, that can be together over time, and your same coaches, the same things are being taught, you can build on those things. And so I think we're just seeing the fruits of really good coaching and a team being able to stay together. It's hard to do nowadays with money and salary cap and things like that. But, and Lord knows I know that. I've lost some of my best friends because of that, to salary cap type things and all that kind of stuff, with different things. So it's hard to stay together, but when you can and you can stay, a core group of guys can be and build together, special things can happen. And so hopefully we can continue that, but New England's really good at all of those phases, so we're going to have to be even better this week.
Hey, Derek, Jerry McDonald. I don't know if you'd heard what happened with Tyrod Taylor, and I'm not going to ask you about another player's injury, but you played with 3 fractures in your back a couple of years ago, and I'm assuming that there was some family members that were wondering what you were thinking. Yeah. And I guess how does a player navigate to play or not to play, which seems to be one of the real tough dilemmas in this league?
Jerry, it's a touchy thing, because there's some things where they'll tell you, like, if you keep playing, like, it could be bad. You know what I mean? Like, it could affect your health long term. When you're young and your kids aren't old, that old, and you're still young in it, you'll play through anything. There's some things that. Where I would draw the line for myself. Now that line is, a lot slighted on the other side, because they thought I was crazy for playing with those broken bones in my back. Like, that just doesn't even make sense. But there's some things where I'm not exactly sure what happened with Tyrod, but the chest pains or whatever, the ribs and all that kind of stuff. Like when it's like something with your heart or lung or something like that, like. That's like long-term health. Like, that's life and death kind of stuff that you got to be careful with. And so there's a fine line there. And any injury I've ever had, I just say, what's the worst that can happen? When I broke my finger in all the places, I said, what's the worst that can happen? I was like, are you gonna have to cut it off? They're like, no, it would just you just may just snap it out again. I was like, okay, we're good. What's the worst that can happen with my back? You got to weigh those options. And sometimes you can't tell your wife, the outcome of the bad part. You just tell her, no, it'll be okay, and you kind of just go from there. But it's a touchy subject. It's a fine line, and it depends. It varies every injury. You know what I'm saying?
Hi, Derek. Levi Damon, USA Today. Going back to that 2014 game in New England, that was your third game as a pro, and then of course there was that that big play there, and then the losing streak that continued throughout that season. How much did that moment stick with you, and are you able to use it as any kind of extra motivation going back there now?
Oh yeah, I remember all the plays. I feel like you remember more of the bad ones than the good ones, because they're more teaching moments. You know what I'm saying? Like you remember, man, like I don't want to feel like that again, and it pushes you, it drives you as a competitor, as an athlete, any sport. It just does. I'm sure in some of your guys' stuff, if you've ever failed at something, sometimes you regroup, you think about it, and you're like, man, how can I grow? How can I be better? So I don't have that feeling again. And I remember going on a 2-minute drive in Foxborough, where Darrelle Revis is out there, Vince Wilfork, all these guys, and we're going on this drive. We score a touchdown. I think the game's over. Like we're going to win, and boom, we get a penalty. Boom, turnover. And it's like, man, that's how close this game is. And it really was an eye opener for me about how how narrow the margin is for victory in the NFL, and how much every little thing matters in the off season. The coaching, the players being around, all that kind of stuff. It all matters. And so it's definitely stuff you can use for like fuel, to motivate you in the off season and things like that. But at the end of the day, that was however many years ago that was, 6-7 years ago now, seasons ago. It's not something where I'm like, man, I got to get back at them. No, it's two different teams, and I'm going to go into it like that. But to say it hasn't motivated me throughout my career would be a lie. It's one of those things, man, I don't want to feel that way, and it's one of those things that keeps you going. That's two.
Derek, Levi Edwards with Raiders.com. Of course, you're going up against two really great corners in Gilmore and McCourty. Can you just talk about, the confidence that you have in your two rookie wideouts to try to get the job done and trying to coach them up on going against elite corners like that?
Yeah, I've played against these guys in my career before, and they're outstanding players. It's going to be a real challenge for us. They're going to come out here and try and choke our young guys out, and what a challenge! What a challenge it is going to be for those guys, And like I said in the production meeting, this last week, this last game. What's up, Wilbur? Like I said in the production meeting this last game, I was excited to see our young bucks step up. When Lattimore was on them or when Jenkins was on them. I was excited to see what would come out of them, and I think Brian had a great couple moments, where he really stepped up and showed what he's capable of. And so it's exciting for me in the where I'm at in my career to, get to see these guys come out of their shell, get to see these guys burst onto the scene. It's exciting for me because we see what they can do every day, but sometimes you don't get that coverage, you don't get that look, and you can't get them that ball or whatever. But when it is that time, it's like, all right, here we go. Let's see what happens. And it's an exciting challenge, I think, for those guys. So I'm excited to watch it. We're gonna need them to win and win big for us.
Last one, Willie.
Derek, Willie Ramirez with the Associated Press here in Vegas. Looking back over your career, this is your second 2-0 start. In game threes, you're 2-4. But is there a different feeling this season in terms of maybe going into a game like this in the past? Maybe it was like, okay, breaking down film, getting with your unit. How are we going to beat these guys? Whereas this year, maybe it's how are they going to beat us? Is there a different mentality? Just seems that the confidence level, the hype that's being played, being in Vegas, is there a different mentality? And no, they have to beat us this week.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I don't go back and look at other week 3 games that I've played in or anything like that. But there's definitely just a confidence on our team. But it really doesn't mean anything. I'm gonna say it all year. It doesn't mean anything unless we go and prove it. It doesn't mean anything unless we go and execute. The talking and all that kind of stuff about our mindset, what they have to prove, what we have to prove. None of it matters until the ball is kicked off. None of that stuff. And so, am I excited for our team? Do I love the confidence that we have? I will answer it yes. I think that we have a lot of confidence in what we can do, but we also acknowledge that we have a great competitor that we're going to have to travel and play at their place, and it's never easy to win there. So we, as a football team, are confident in what we can do, but we also understand the challenge in front of us, and we're excited for that challenge. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. Go ahead, Denny.
Hey, Damon. Obviously, you're playing through a hand injury. You're unfortunately kind of accustomed to doing that. Haven't done it last year at Ohio State. Saw you come out a couple of times on Monday night. Is the hand a little bit so that you're just sort of having to deal with and having to take a play or two off here every once in a while?
Yeah, like as far as I remember, I remember just coming out one time yesterday with my hand. You know, it's like really just stubbing your toe because my thumb is broken. You know what I'm saying? So every now and again, it might get dinged up. I might just need a play.
Hey Damon, Cassie Soto with the Las Vegas Review-Journal. What was Monday night like for you? What was it like finally playing inside of Allegiant Stadium?
Well, you know, the main thing is we got the dub. So finishing that game 2-0, that was a great feeling. And then also just being in the stadium, wearing that black in the first brand new stadium in Vegas, you know what I'm saying? Just opening up in history. It just seems like we starting off right. And I know we ain't letting that ink dry yet, so we ain't done yet.
Hey, David, Vince Sapienza here with Fox 5. Just piggybacking off that, how do you roll that momentum in terms of all the good that you did on Monday night on the road now here in week 3?
Really just staying consistent in our preparation. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like we just got to take each day at a time. And we all understand that each day and each second that we are part of this Las Vegas Raiders organization, we writing history. So the pen is in our hand right now. So that's how we approaching it.
Damon, Adam Hill, Las Vegas Review-Journal. Whenever we see you on the practice field or on the game field, you're always dancing or talking to a teammate or doing something. Like, how much fun are you having, playing football right now?
Oh, this is the most fun I done had playing football, playing like my whole life. I ain't got to worry about nothing else but football. You know what I'm saying? No extra luggage, no baggage. You know what I'm saying? I could just worry about being the best player for my teammates and coaches.
Yeah, into Josh Sheeber from AP. When you're going up against a quarterback like Cam Newton who can scramble and extend plays and things like that, what are the challenges as a cornerback in terms of staying with your coverage during that?
Our discipline is going to be real key. If you start scrambling, just plastering to our man because we know he likes to keep plays alive with his legs and then launches it with his arm downfield. So as secondary defenders, we just got to make sure we have great eye discipline on the receivers and don't take our eyes off him when he starts scrambling.
Hey, Damon, this is Jerry McDonald from the Bay Area Newsgroup. Mike Mayock and John have both talked about how much they love your competitive nature, the way you bounce back, the way you'll get into a receiver and shake off plays. Through 2 games, how do you think you're doing? I know there's the one double move the first game that you probably want back, but overall, how would you say that you've played your first 2 games?
I'd say I played hard. I'd say I played with a lot of energy, effort. There's a lot of things to improve on, but I feel like the good that I did do helped my teammates. So I'm not complaining about that, but there's always room to get better, and it's just the second game, so we could only get better from here.
Let's do 2 more, Cassie, then Levi.
Cassie again, Damon. Really fast, back to the dancing question. There was a video of you and John Abram having like a little dance-off. What's the chemistry like between the 2 of you?
Oh yeah, that's my boy. We both loose screws, so loose screws fit in with each other. That's my boy. But everybody is though. This is one of the closest secondaries that I've been on. With Ohio State last year, just coming from a close secondary and a close defense and all, we definitely on that same path.
Damon, Levi Edwards with Raiders.com. One of the very commonly said things is that going from college to the NFL, the speed is just different, just a faster game. How can you say you've adjusted to the speed of the NFL in your first 2 games?
Shoot, I say it's just a focus thing. I say NFL you need a sharper focus because in college, it's like you can tend to get lost and bored out there. You know what I'm saying? NFL, I can remember all the plays I played in, and each play really count. But the game seems like they go by quicker. So I feel like that's why each play really counts. So you got to stay focused and stay in tune with each play, because that one slip up or that one play could be the ball game.
Great. Thank you, everyone.
Appreciate it.
Cassie?
Hey Zay, Cassie Soda with the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Can you just put into words what Monday Night Football was like for you and playing inside of Allegiant Stadium?
Yeah, it was historic. It meant a lot to myself, this organization, to kick off such a great start to the season in a phenomenal stadium was truly special. I'm sure to the ownership, management, obviously the coaches and ourselves. So beautiful stadium, great outcome, and just awesome team win. Great way to start the new tradition of winning here in Allegiant Stadium.
Hey, Zay, Jerry McDonald from the Bay Area News Group. Now, consecutive weeks, both you and Nelson Aguilar have had pretty limited snaps and really only one target each, but they came in the end zone. What does that say about what Derek's willing to do and the way your offense works, that you two guys both came through with catches like that and your quarterback had the faith to throw them?
Yeah, we just have to stay ready at any point in time. A long season, a long game, they're long games. So just being ready when our number is called and capitalizing on the opportunities that both of us get. Just my focus, and I'm sure it's Nelson's as well.
It's Josh Dubow from AP. You've got some experience going up against this New England defense. Just what is it that makes them, especially in the secondary, so challenging?
They're a special group, well coached, great athletes, a lot of veteran leadership, especially in the secondary. Guys that are not afraid to compete. Like I said, just great athletes. They're just a good group. We just got to be ready for anything and just be ready to compete and just focus on ourselves and our game plan and what we're going to bring to the table. And I look forward to the matchup against them.
I say Levi Damon from USA Today. That touchdown pass and catch by you in the end zone there, do you think that that's a play that could have happened without what you guys did in the offseason at the park?
I'm sure it helps. The time on task as far as trying to get timing and that chemistry down with the quarterback, not only for myself, but people like Darren Waller, Alec Ingle, Nelson Aguilar. And you're seeing it come through fruition. You're seeing it actually happen on these game days. So it's exciting that work is translating into actual game reps. And for myself, I would like to consider that to be a routine play that me and DC have made before, and it just carries over from practice into the game.
Hey, Zay, this is Vic. What have been your impressions of the two rookies so far, Henry and Brian?
Guys who aren't afraid to compete. The stage is not too big for them. I'm sure playing at their respective colleges, it's allowed them to have that, I guess fans, obviously they're not there, but like the stage is not too big for them. And their versatility to route running ability, being able to learn the playbook, grasping the concepts that come at them, and them just being great athletes.
Last one, Paul.
Hey, Zay, Paul Gutierrez here. How did the hand sanitizer celebration come to be?
Okay, so it was 2 days before the game, I think. Nelson Aguilar said that we need a group celebration. And so I started brainstorming and was like, what if we did kind of like what's going on with COVID and kind of spin off of, positive message or whatever. So he's like, what do you have in mind? And I was like, what if we celebrated with hand sanitizer? And then Hunter came over and was like, I like that idea. Henry was like, that's great. He said Henry's idea was whoever scores sprays the hand sanitizer. So it just so happened that I was the one who got the touchdown. I don't think Henry's on the field. I think he sprinted off the sideline to do it. And then everybody was together, and I don't know, it just happened. It was fun. And then guys who didn't even know we were doing it, like DC,
or spook because it was a wide receiver thing. They joined in, and it was fun.
Thank you, everyone.
Appreciate it.
Go ahead, Jerry.
Hey, Kolton, Jerry McDonald. John Gruden has remarked a couple of times that he thought your rookie experience of playing through 16 games, even though you were hurt, kind of has given you a little bit of foundation for what's happened since. Kind of curious as to the dilemma NFL players face sometimes as whether to play or not to play. How did you navigate that?
Man, when I came in as a rookie, I always tried to listen to what I could, and when it came time to, you get nicked up, I just, I got hurt, and I remember Derek said, "Get up." We were facing the Cleveland Browns, so I just popped up, and it was right before the half. I just taped up and did as much as I could from there and built off that, and, it was definitely building experience, and I've took it with me since now, and I feel really good.
Hey, Kolton, this is Vic. I know last offseason, you got bigger and stronger. What'd you work on this offseason, and what's the reason for the new and improved Kolton Miller this year? Why are you better this year?
Same as every offseason, just stronger across the board. Keep my feet straight. Good feet. Worked on depth with hips. Staying low because I'm a tall guy. I gotta practice staying low in both run and pass. But yeah, those things I just worked on and built off of.
Colton Adam Hill, Las Vegas Review Journal. Monday night, you go from having, Richie Incognito, experienced guy, next to you, a veteran, one of the better guards in the league, to John Simpson. How did John Simpson play? How tough were those two this day?
Man, he did great. For a young guy coming in, and then all of a sudden, in the middle of the game, you got to step in and step up, and we communicated, got him on the right page. I think he's going to be better this week if he has to go in. A lot of guys have been asked. A lot of guys went down. A lot of guys have stepped up, and we've done a great job so far.
Last one, Vic.
I'm going to follow up. Was it kind of cool for you with John being the older guy, kind of being the wiser veteran after being the younger guy all these years?
What's that?
Was it cool with John being kind of the veteran guy, kind of helping him out after being the young guy yourself the past couple of years?
Yeah, it's something you grow into. And then I had to be even more, I had to step up more too to just be sure to communicate, because obviously, we haven't worked together as much during the week, so just over communicating, make sure we're on the right page, overemphasizing technique. But yeah, no, it was great. Whole experience was great, and feel good.
Thank you, everyone.